Again, Gen essentially says that the set Gen says Gen contains uses that are not preceded by a definition, whereas kill contains uses anywhere. So this says we are talking about upwards exposed use. Upwards exposed in the sense that if we were to peep into the basic block from the top, we will find that this use is not covered by a definition. Whereas for kill, we do not talk about whether it's covered or not. What kill does is it stops the effect of being propagated across a basic block. There are some more examples here which I will leave for you to look at. The slides are made available here. I will not spend much time in this particular video. So what is the use of live variables analysis? Live variables analysis, the result of live variables analysis can be used for register allocation. If a variable X is live in a basic block B, it is a potential candidate for register allocation. The other use is that a variable could also be used, a variable that is not live, then it means that we are assigning a value to a variable which is not going to be used, and this value is not required later in the program, and therefore this assignment can be eliminated. So the other application of live variables analysis is to perform dead code elimination. So here, if a variable X is not live after an assignment to X, then the assignment is redundant and can be deleted as dead code. Let us now look at a tutorial problem. We would like to perform dead code elimination. Observe here that we have the in and out values initialized to empty set here everywhere, and we have associated gen and kill sets. I will just describe some of them. You should work out the rest of them. So here we have in basic block 1, the gen set is empty because the only variable which is being read is C, but this read is preceded by this particular assignment. So therefore there is no read of a variable that is not preceded by a definition. At the same time, since there are assignments to A, B, C and M, all these variables are killed. The liveness of all these variables is killed by this particular basic block. In basic block 2, there is no assignment, only A and M are being read. So therefore gen is A comma M and kill is empty. With these gen and kill values and the initialization, we now compute the data flow value in and out for each of these nodes from 1 to 6, and because we want to go in the backward direction, we first compute the data flow values at node 6. Because this is the end block of the control flow graph, the out value remains empty set. No variable is being used, therefore it remains empty set. Since this in is empty, the out of node 5 remains empty. However, the in of node 5 is A, B, C because the liveness of A, B and C is being generated within node 5. So this is the entry of node, this is the set of variables live at the entry of node 5, and therefore we get the same set at the exit of node 5, which is a union of what we get here and along this path what we get here. Here we have empty set, but here we have ABC, and therefore here we get the set ABC at the exit of node 4. Node 4 doesn't kill liveness of anything but generates liveness of A, which is already live at the exit. So we get ABC as live here. Note here that at the exit of 3, when we compute out of 3, we have not visited 2 before, and therefore we pick up the value at the entry of 2, which is empty set, and therefore at the exit of 3 we say the no variable is live. And because there is a use of A here, we have A in node 3 liveness is generated and liveness is also killed. So when we remove A from empty set, we get empty set, and then we add the gen set A. So we say that the set of variables that are live at the entry of node 3 is a singleton set containing A. Now at the exit of 2, we take a union of this set and this set. So which is the union of in of 4 and in of 3, and we get at the out of 2 the set ABC, and now additionally M becomes live. So at the entry of 2 we get the set ABCM, at the exit of 1 we get the set ABCM, and because everything is killed we get the empty set as the set of variables that are live at the start of the program. Note that we still have to ensure that there is no further change. So when we perform another round of live variables analysis, there is some change here, and the change here is that we have this ABC becoming live here. Earlier at the exit we had only empty set, but now because at the entry we found ABCM, therefore ABCM becomes live at the exit of 3, and therefore we have the data flow values of 3 and 2 changing. Note that 3 and 2 form a loop, and therefore we expect their values to be affected, and we expect the values of the loop of the nodes that precede the loop to be affected. In this case, the values of node 1 are not changing. The interesting thing here is that we have at the exit of 5, the set of variables is empty, the set of live variables is empty. However, we observe that there is an assignment to a variable A. Because the set is empty, it means that A is not being used. So this is an example of a dead code. So using live variables analysis, we can perform dead code elimination and delete this assignment, thereby getting a new basic block in which the assignment to A has been deleted. So we can repeat liveness analysis again on the optimized code, and when I say optimized code, I am referring to the situation where the assignment to A has been deleted, and optimize it further. This can continue as long as the code continues to change. A better approach would be to perform strong liveness analysis. This is something that we will study in the third module. This implies that we perform an analysis and include the transitive effect of the possible deletions that can happen, and then we need to optimize the code only once, but that we shall do in module 3. For now, we show the repeated applications only to show the scope of further optimizations. This is not how a practical compiler would actually do it. So we have this assignment to A being deleted from here, and we have here again gen and kill sets computed. Note here that now A does not appear in the kill set of node 5. We once again reinitialize everything to empty set, and we perform live variables analysis. In the second iteration, once again we get some change in nodes 2 and 3, because initially we had assumed the values to be empty at the exit of 3. Now we observe here that the out of 5 still is empty set, and we have an assignment to T1 which is redundant. So we can perform another round of dead code elimination, and now we have this new graph. Now we can perform round 3 of live variables analysis on this. Now we observe that within node 5 we neither have gen nor kill, both the sets are empty, and then we perform live variables analysis on this. Once again we have at the exit of node 3 the set being empty set, which then changes in the second round, and now we find that at the exit of node 1 we have A and M as live, which means that only the value of A and M is required. The value of B is not required. Value of C is required locally within the basic block, but value of B is not required after the basic block. So after this round of dead code elimination, we get further optimized code. Okay. So what does data flow analysis involve? Data flow analysis involves these three things. We need to define the analysis. We need to formulate the analysis, give a mathematical definition of how to compute the sets defined by an analysis, and then we need to have an algorithm for performing analysis. So when we define the analysis, we define the properties of execution paths. When we formulate the analysis, we define data flow equations, which are linear simultaneous equations on sets rather than numbers. Later we will generalize the domain of the values to other things other than sets. In order to perform analysis, we solve the data flow equations for the given program flow graph. And there are many unanswered questions. What is the initial value? In this example, we had taken the initial value to be empty set, but is it always the case? Are there situations where we take something other than empty set? Is it a safe value? Is it a sound value? Can it give us something wrong? Can the result go wrong? Can the result be imprecise? How do we know that the process will terminate? We said we recompute values until they stabilize, but what is the guarantee that they will stabilize? And even when they stabilize, what is the complexity of this algorithm? How many iterations are we required? Can we put a bound on that? And what is the property of the solutions? Is it sound? Is it precise? Is it so we have to be able to define all these. All these questions will be answered in module 2. In this particular part of the lecture, now we stop here. In the remaining part of the lecture, then we will examine a little more details of solving these equations and more observations about live variables analysis. We will try to speculate, we will try to make some general observations which we will use later for the other analyses and in the next module of the course.